helping you to weather good and bad economies without putting retirement on hold. This is the Tumolo Financial Podcast with Ken and Nick Tumolo. Ken and his son Nick know that creating a comprehensive financial plan can align your hard-earned life savings with your retirement goals. Consider them your retirement architects. Now, the Tumolo Financial Podcast with Ken and Nick Tumolo.
For decades, retirement came with a predictable playbook. Work hard, save consistently, follow a few simple rules, and you'll be all set. That playbook was built for, I'm going to say, a different time and economy. I can actually tell people I went to school back and a lot of the books were written with that playbook and soon found out that's not the case. But today's retirees are living longer, having higher inflation, higher healthcare costs, and more market volatility. These are some of the common retirement rules that are not as reliable as they used to be. Rule number one, you only need 70 to 80% of your pre-retirement income. Yeah, that in the past might have been true. People would retire. Basically, they wouldn't have to buy suits for work, certain clothes for work, cut back on what they're spending in gas. But it's different now. When we're running our retirement checkup with people that come in, those projections, we always run it by what they're spending now. And a lot of times we add a little extra to it, because what we found out over thousands of plans over the years is that people just spend about the same. I mean, you just don't flip a switch and change your lifestyle. A lot of people don't retire and just stay home. They want to do the things that they dreamt about. So basically what I'm going to say is the idea, you retire and you spend. You do what you want to do. After all, why retire? Otherwise, just keep working. And most of us want to retire. So the reality really is many retirees spend heavily in those early years, travel, hobbies, helping children, grandchildren, and then the rising healthcare costs. So really, there are costs. They don't go away. It's life. Later on, I can tell you, when you get older, yeah, maybe the 70, 80% rule works when you get out to age 80. But right away, early on retirement, you're typically spending the same amount, if not more. So key takeaway, retirement income planning should be based on your expected lifestyle and spending needs, not a generic percentage. Rule number two, just withdraw 4%. Here we go with another percentage. So I feel like years ago, that idea of that rule was just to make it so, hey, if you're doing things yourself, just do this and you'll be okay. And it's guidelines, kind of rules of thumbs, guidelines. Don't hold too much of a stock because if that stock goes down, you can actually lose a lot. So, diversification that we always hear about. So this withdraw 4%, there are many people that wrote articles basically saying, hey, that's not true. What if this happens? And what I mean by what if this happens? It doesn't account for taxes, meaning if taxes go up on us, that 4% rule might not work. Healthcare costs. We could even talk inflation when I talk about healthcare costs. Prices change. So that 4% rule might not work. Market conditions. Market goes down and you're drawing 4% out. You ever hear of systematic risk? If the market's going down, usually everything's going down. And as you draw, you're drawing more shares out of those accounts. So it doesn't bounce back the same. So those changing spending needs, major life events, I could go on and on. It's really about building a solid plan to begin with. You want to build a retirement plan based on your expenses. Work backwards. I know that sounds kind of weird, work backwards. But if we could work back by your expenses, take what we have for income that you're going to have coming in and then subsidize with the accounts where you saved money from, then we can build a plan and build some backups into it. This way we don't have to worry about as much about those market fluctuations. So key takeaway, the 4% rule can be a useful guideline. It kind of gives you a starting point, but it might not be accurate. Many retirees need more than a withdrawal formula. They need an income strategy. So that's why I say start backwards, work by the expenses. Rule number 3, and I've heard this so many times, your home is your nest egg. Okay. Pay off your house. Later on, you could take the money from the house. I can't tell you how many people we've talked to as soon as, and if let's say they're borderline at with retirement based on the numbers, if you mention doing a reverse mortgage or pulling money out of the house, most people do not want to do it. Okay. So that's why I say this, we can't say the home is your nest egg. Yeah, it might be that nest egg that you pass on to beneficiaries, meaning children. So basically you get through retirement. And this is how we run our plans. We want our clients to get through retirement based on what they save, not on their house. And then the house is one of those assets that if they have kids, it's one of those assets that they could pass right along to their kids. And it gets, a lot of times it gets there's a special tax rule, step up in basis. So when that passes on to the kids don't pay taxes on the house they inherit. So it's a good asset to pass along. So I feel like it's a nest egg to pass along, not so much a nest egg to help you get through retirement, but it could be a backup. If you do get into trouble and you go through most of your retirement money and you need some money, then yes, you can pull some from the house. And I always say when I talk to people, look, a lot of times a house, it's equity rich, but cash poor. The cash is not as easy to get out of that house. So one other outdated belief I'm going to add into it is paying off the mortgage. Sometimes, depending on interest rates and stuff, it's not the best move. You really want to evaluate that because sometimes just a basic, let's just say U.S. Treasury, something that's safe. If you're making more money on that than what you're paying out interest-wise on that mortgage, sometimes you're better off not paying off that mortgage right away. So it all depends. It's an evaluation. So key takeaway on that rule, your home is an important asset. It should support your retirement plan, but not serve as your plan. Okay. Rule number 4. I've got a few rules. There's a lot of things out there. The market always comes back. I know many of you have heard that. You go see your advisor and your advisor, you had a bad month or a bad year. And the advisor just says, oh, don't worry, the market's going to come back. It's just on paper. The thing is when you're younger, you're 30, 40, early 50s, you can basically say it's going to come back. I'll be okay because you have time on your side is what I'm going to say. And when you go to retire and you're 60, 65, it's not the same time on your side. Yes, we want you to live out to 100 and be healthy, but it's not the same time. And the reason why it's not the same time, you count on those models. You count on those portfolios. You're going to be drawing on them. So saying that the market always comes back and you go into retirement with that mentality, you don't make those changes to make it a retirement portfolio, you can get yourself into trouble. So let's just pretend you're investing risky and the market goes down by 30, 40%. You're still taking money out of those accounts. You're taking out even more shares. When the market starts to come back, you never returned where you were before because you took out more shares than you needed to take out. Because remember, your share price is lower when the market goes down, so you take more shares out. So it doesn't multiply as much on the return side of it. So key takeaway, the question is not, will the market recover? It's, do you have an income strategy that can survive while waiting for the recovery? That's a big part of retirement. Building that portfolio, making it a retirement portfolio. Rule number 5, and I promise you, this is the last rule for today. Move everything into safe investments. I've heard this one before too. I made it to retirement. I was advised, go out and just buy an annuity and buy some CDs and not worry about the market. Get myself completely out of the market. And it's not the best strategy. I talk about diversification. Basically, you want to have multiple pieces to the plan. If you go completely safe, you take the chance of growth out of the picture. And sometimes your plan fails. Because remember, when you go to safe investments, the return's not always the same. I can't promise you that the market's going to give you a great return, but historically, it's a mix of market and a mix of safe that gets someone through retirement. I can tell you, and I kind of mentioned it in the beginning, when I went back to school for my CFP, a lot of the books out there were still talking about bonds, CDs, and old style investing when we actually had interest rates. It was a great time. People didn't have to worry about as much going through retirement. Most retirees these days take a lot more risk than they used to, and they worry more. So going into it with a plan kind of takes that worry away. So big thing, remember, retirement's a long time. You can be in retirement 20, 30, 40 years. It all depends on when you retire. Build a retirement portfolio. So key takeaway, retirement portfolios often need balance. Too much risk can be dangerous. So being conservative is actually a piece of the portfolio. So conservative and market risk. So in close, I want to say the old advice wasn't necessarily wrong. It's still kind of right. It's just kind of a guideline to help us. But a lot of times there's more to it. Every retirement is different. The best retirement plans are usually not built around rules of thumb. They're just a guideline to start. They're built around your goals, needs, assets, and vision for retirement. And if you want a review of your portfolio, reach out to us. Just go to our website, tfcheckup.com, or click on the link below.
Investment advice offered through Tumolo Wealth Management, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here.